Welcome to the Transformation Debrief. I'm Chris Hood, a digital strategist at Google Cloud and your host. In each episode, we aim to stir visionary thinking and share unexpected insights on transformation initiatives and lessons learned along the way. ASML is an innovation leader in the semiconductor industry. They provide chip makers with everything they need, from hardware, software, and services to mass-produced patterns on silicon through lithography. Founded in 1984, ASML now has over 32,000 employees at over 60 locations worldwide. In 2021, they closed the year with net sales of $18.5 billion. To dive deeper into this incredible innovative company, I am joined by a co-host from Google and a wonderful guest from ASML. Would you both mind introducing yourselves and sharing a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Chris. Hi, everyone. My name's Simon Floyd, and I'm Director of Manufacturing Industry Strategy and Solutions at Google Cloud. And my team is responsible for the overall strategy for executing within the industry and aligning our Google products to our customer needs and customer problems. Real pleasure to be with you, and over to you, Arno.
Thank you, Simon. My name is Arno Ibo. I'm a product cluster manager at ASML. I lead the delivery of solutions that maximize the utilizations of ASML machines by chip manufacturers and minimize the resources needed to service those machines.
In the intro, I shared just a little bit about ASML, but for the audience, could you share a little bit more about exactly what ASML does?
So simply put, ASML makes the machine that makes the chips. So companies like Intel, Samsung, they design the chips they want to make. And basically a chip is broken down into a 3D structure. So it's a collection of layers. Potentially now we are reaching hundreds of those layers. So each layer needs to be processed, and we provide the machine that turns those different layers into a physical structure on silicon.
So Arno, maybe a quick question for you, just about your machines and about your work. And in particular, how are you working with Google Cloud today, and what was the overall opportunity that you saw, and how has the work been going to date?
What we notice is, as we transition also in the industry slides to link the two things together, you see that everything was very much hardware driven, because to shrink, we had to make better sensors, better actuators, better light sources. But what you see now happening is that those machines are good enough, and you want, especially with now the chip shortage that we all have to face, you want to optimize the utilization of those machines. And the optimization of those machines is something that you typically drive with software, and it requires massive data processing. So initially, we actually started working with Google Cloud, I think about 4 years ago, where we realized that our local environment, the environment we had on-prem, was not sufficient to drive the analysis we wanted to do, the product we wanted to build. So it actually started with one small team delivering one product as a pilot. And we noticed quickly after 6 months that the performance of the team improved 10 times. So you may notice that using the cloud not only made us faster at building an ML model or machine learning model, or even a statistical or physical model, the overall cycle of application development improves significantly. Because what is very important for us about the cloud, because we move the whole environment, the whole development environment there, it's not just about building good models, it's about building good solutions for customers.
Did you see an increased demand from your consumers for that type of service, or was this solely something internally that you said we need to optimize how we're producing software and hardware, and we need to look at the cloud as a solution?
So the main driver was time to market. So we needed to be faster at releasing our solutions and also improving the quality of our solutions. I expect that in the coming 2 to 3 years, there will be a slow shift towards the cloud for the non-critical processes. And what I mean by non-critical processes, if you look at the chip design, there are processes that actually optimize the behavior of the machines, and they do really run-to-run optimizations. Those processes are so critical that they will, I think, never rely on an internet connection. But other processes that are running basically outside of those production critical processes, like diagnostic processes, monitoring processes that actually are very data intensive, those I think will slowly move to the cloud, because this is the only way you can scale those processes for the new needs of the production process.
Oh no, I'm very curious just about the people aspect of the work that you have done. Did you find that bringing these types of solutions to them was something that they could easily adopt?
There were two profiles. So I think the engineers who had to deliver the solutions were super excited to onboard. People that were a bit more reluctant were, I think, mostly on the receiving end of those products. Because on the one hand, there is, of course, this big concern around IP. IP in semiconductor is very critical. What does it mean? It means that you can go with your own chip design and they can make it for you. It means that the design that you ask Intel to basically turn into a physical chip could actually be competing with Intel CPUs. So there have to be very, very, very big walls and boundaries to protect the IP that is running in the tools and the equipment. So now you say, we're not going to do the calculation, the modeling. All our IP is not going to be running on-prem, it's going to be running in the cloud, maintained by someone that we don't really know.
I think that's actually a really key point about transformation is I think I would call that building trust, that everybody understands how something works, to the degree where they can feel very confident in it and they have develop their own trust model around it. Did you find that there were other sort of human factors that played into this as well? Maybe not so much security or sort of the confidentiality part, I think we understand, but were there other attributes there as well which you had to work through as part of your transformation journey?
I think one of the elements very often associated with the cloud is AI. Because you see that in many cases, the cloud is promoted as the enabler for AI. And you have some part of the people who just say AI is hype, so I don't even want to hear about it. And those are more skeptical. And even when your solution, let's say you're using machine learning, comes with extremely high levels of accuracy, they still don't want to use it because they don't trust the model. And what you see today, even the best methods to provide model explainability are still not good enough, not reliable enough, not trustworthy enough to be able to say, yes, this is this module and this is the drift of this module that is causing this effect on the chip. And until we can make this link very clear, very explicit between the results of a prediction and all the causal relationship leading to that recommendation, people will just not trust it.
I know I'm kind of curious. In my role as an example, I have the privilege of meeting with many executives, and they always ask the question, why am I doing this? What's been your experience there, working with your own executive team and explaining to them why you wanted to take this particular approach and how, at the end of the day, how's it really been measured, your overall success?
I think first it started by a leap of faith because they, like ASML is where it is today because it tried pretty much everything until it found the right way to do so. So there is this kind of trial and error mode that is part of how we do things because it's so complex that you have to try and learn and try and learn and try and learn until you figure out the right solution. So Chris, I read that not so long ago you were selling popcorn at a local movie theater. So a very important part of a movie is the story. So in a digital transformation, how important is the story that we tell?
I think that goes back to even what you introduced yourself with, right? Is that storyline and the ability to communicate what that story is or what that message is in the right way so that you can paint the picture of your transformation and be successful and bring others along for that journey. I think all of that is absolutely critical. And really, this is about understanding, and you touched on it a few times, what consumers are looking for, what are your customers' expectations, and then being able to translate that value that you're talking about directly back to those customers and paint this picture. We are transforming for this reason. We are transforming for our customers so that they can receive this value from us. With that, thank you so much, Hernan. Appreciate your time and insights. It's been a fabulous conversation with you.
A pleasure.
And thank you, Simon, for being my co-host today.
I appreciate it, Chris. Great to work with you again, Anna.
And if you would like to learn more about ASML, we have 2 channels for you to explore. At cloud.google.com/transform, we dive deeper into this transformation journey, and you can tune into that digital show to hear the extended podcast version of this conversation. And don't forget to hit subscribe and join us again for our visionary thinking and lessons learned on the next episode of the Transformation Debrief.